All right, we're good. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. The voice of the floor, the shot caller, like the dude that brings us all of the heat
Yep.
all of the time, Cameron Burke. Like super cool. I know that I want to bring up the fact that it's super fun that you got to meet my wife before me because
Yes.
That doesn't usually happen.
yeah.
That doesn't usually happen. So most of the time, the guests that we get come from just DMs or someone that knew someone and something like
Yeah.
that. So you are our first guest that I met first before my wife met.
I'm honored. I'm honored. I know. It's the redhead connection. There must have been something
It's the
there.
ginger. Yeah, it's the ginger. So we met and I would love to hear your perspective of it because I shared a little bit the last time that we did a podcast where I was just standing there watching and you had looked over at me and I thought that you looked at me, but it was one of those things where like you scan the crowd and you're not sure if someone's looking at you or past you or around you, but I was like, "Oh, I think he looked at me," but then you went back to what you were doing.
Yeah.
And then it's one of those things where it's like, shit, am I supposed to know who that is? Like, is this somebody that I'm supposed to know? And then you did the next event, and then you had approached me and was like, hey, are you from Glitton Podcast? And I was like, yeah, hey, nice to meet you. So would love to kind of hear your perspective, like when you realized it was me, when you noticed, and what made you want to come up and say, hey.
So I think it was the night before you had shared something. So I followed you guys a while ago when my buddy Gabe was on, Gabe Garcia,
Mm-hmm.
and you shared something the night before on how you met Lauren Khalil.
Yeah.
And that was my third time working with Lauren. So I saw you guys chat. I think I saw you guys chatting for a second in between heats, and I was like, "Hey," I was like, "Is she the one who does that Glitton Things podcast?" And she was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." She was like, "That's her. That's her over there." And I was like, "Oh my god!" And I was like, "I saw that you guys met yesterday," and I was like, "I saw that you were on the show," because I went to like a rabbit hole after I think I saw Lauren like reshared it, and I watched like Gabe's episode, and I saw that you had like a couple other like athletes and people. So I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh my god!" I gotta go say hi to her, and I was like, "This show's it's great." I was like, "It's really cool what they do," and then that's when I came over.
Yeah.
And I was like, her in the corner, right? And she was like, yeah, she's like the red hair, like you. And I was like, yes, like me.
Yep.
and and that
It's
was
so
when
interesting to me to get like noticed, I guess you could say now, because we went
it's a
to our
cool feeling.
first.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's cool yet. I haven't figured out if it's cool yet because at Vitruvian, it's one of those things like we're usually the ones approaching people that we might know we're like athletes, and you kind of get like that awkward moment where it's like, how
Yeah.
do I say hello without coming across too weird? But then you end up coming
Mhm.
across weird anyways. So now
Yeah.
that people do it to us, our first experience was we were at Vitruvian and someone recognized my wife first and did like the little like lean in, like, I think I know who you are. And you kind of look at them like, oh, this is a little weird. So, but it's just, I don't know if it's cool yet, but it's definitely something that I'm getting used to.
Yeah. I mean, you guys have a really good thing going, so I'm sure it won't be the first time. It'll just keep coming.
Well, I
My
appreciate
girlfriend
that.
always laughs how like everywhere we go, I don't know how, but like I may know someone, whether it be from like where I grew up or like CrossFit, and it's like places all over the place. Like we'll be at like random weddings and it's somebody I know, or my favorite was took a flight to Key West, and there was a guy on there who took a class with me one time at a gym I worked at, and he was like, yeah, like, and he was like on the back of the plane, and she was like, you got to be kidding me, and I was like, I don't know, I was like,
Yeah.
he's really good. It's been a good class. I don't know. I was like, he's a great guy. He was really fun when we talked to him on the plane. We saw him again on like when we were in Key West, but it's definitely a strange, but like a cool feeling when they like, I don't know, I guess being noticed, and they're like, oh, like, you do this, like it's really cool, like I saw you do that, and it was like,
Yep.
really fun, something like that.
Yeah.
It's a cool feeling. To me, it is.
Maybe I'll get there, but I don't know right now.
She'll get there. Let's go back a little bit. When do you
Mhm.
find CrossFit? Like
I started
when do you drink the Kool-Aid?
So I drank the Kool-Aid. Well, it was kind of like in two parts. So I first started CrossFit when I was 17. So that was just about 12 years ago. I was a junior in high school and I played basketball. And my older sister, Megan, her and a good friend of hers, they were they would join a CrossFit gym together because her friend was getting in shape for her wedding. So she wanted to get in shape for her wedding. She found this CrossFit gym, and it was kind of one of the first ones in the North Shore area of Mass. So like Salem, Lynn, Beverly, like that kind of whole area. And it was actually eventually ended up being the gym that I started working at. And she told me, she was like, you should come check this out when basketball season's over. So I was a junior in high school, looking for something to do a couple of days a week in the off season just to get in shape and just get, in better health and get stronger and fitter for basketball. So I checked it out. And when I went there, I took an on-ramp. It was like 2 times a week for 3 weeks. It was a very long, extensive on-ramp. And I learned as much as kind of like I needed to understand how it would make me like a better basketball player, which is like a weird thing. Like I didn't learn the whole constantly very functional fitness at high intensity, eat nuts and seeds, fruits, vegetables, little starch and no sugar, like the 9 foundational movements, like all that stuff. Like that wasn't like anything that had that like pertained to me. It was just like, if you do box jumps and power cleans, you'll be able to jump higher and dunk with 2 hands. And I was like, cool.
Sign me up. Mm-hmm.
Sign me up. Yeah. And so I did it 2 days a week until basketball season. Then eventually I went to college for a year at a smaller school that was further away from home. And then I stopped playing basketball, and I was like, maybe I'll get into this CrossFit thing kind of full time. So I transferred schools back to Salem, where that gym was originally. It was CrossFit Iron Spider in Salem. And when I was at Salem State, that was when I started studying exercise science. And that was like really when I drank the Kool-Aid. I dove right in head first, CrossFit every day, if not twice a day. And that was when it happened. So it was probably like 2016.
So you're like Boston raised, bred, never get out of Boston. That's your, that's your moniker kind of thing.
Yeah. So about like 20 minutes north of Boston is where I grew up. It's a town called Lynn. And it's right next to Salem, which is like Salem, Mass. Right now in October, it's madness there, all the witch stuff and all the Halloween stuff that they do. So I went to college in Salem. I went to my first gym, CrossFit Iron Spider in Salem, was where I started CrossFit and where I started coaching. So that's where I was born and raised.
Okay, so you are a coach. I know you have your level 2.
I do. Yep.
Right?
Yep. Yeah.
When did you decide to do that? Did you do it when they mandated it, or did you do it before that?
For level 2?
Yeah, you're level 2.
So my level 2 actually is only like 2 years old. So I got it 2022. Yeah, 2022. And it was like in the spring. And basically I had like days left on my L1. And it was something where when I first got my level 1, a year after I got my level 1, I took the level 2. And it was when there was a test. And from what I had heard, is like the test for the level 2 is kind of like what the level 3 is now. And so I went to the seminar, like learned a ton. I had such a great experience with like Austin Maliolo. I was at the Reebok headquarters, and it was the 2018 Open. So there was like
really
everybody was coming down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. Like that was when Reebok had their own team.
There. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the Seaport area. So I don't think that gym is operating anymore, or I think Reebok's still there, but I don't think they have the facility. But I went for my level 2 there, and I failed. I failed. I took the test. You had to bring like your own iPad or laptop, and I failed the test. And I was like, this didn't go expected, but I was only coaching for a year, and I definitely needed a little bit more experience. But then fast forward to when it was no test, it was just like a course you basically took home. That was when I got my level 2. So it's about 2 years old now.
When you first find CrossFit and you drink the Kool-Aid, did you drink the Kool-Aid like, I'm going to be an athlete and I'm going to go to the CrossFit games? Or did you drink the Kool-Aid like you were instantly wanted to be a coach?
I drank the Kool-Aid and was like, whatever you need to put in this Kool-Aid to make me like Rich Froning, give me 2 times the dose.
Yeah.
Give me 2 times the dose. Because that was like in the middle of his like reign. That was before I think it was right before he went team. And then Ben Smith had won in 2016. Then Frazier started to take over in 2017. That's when he ran away with
2015.
Yeah.
Ben Smith won in 2015. Yeah.
2015. Yeah. So that was around the time. And I remember watching like any video that he had on Mayhem. He had like his documentary. I read his book, and I was just like, whatever I need to do, besides mobility and nutrition, because I didn't really think about that stuff back then. I was just like, I'm just going to train. I was like, because that's what I wanted to do, is I wanted to compete, because I was, my whole life I was an athlete. I was in sports. I was on teams, or I, was trying to get better at my sport, and that was what CrossFit became, was my sport. So I would do, local comps, individual comps, qualifiers online, all that stuff. Be open.
Okay, so I'm about to put you on the spot. Don't be mad. It's
won't.
okay. I love you.
I love you too.
Froning, Frazier.
You
Who's your GOAT?
I feel like that's, oh man, I feel like that's like the LeBron Jordan question for me.
It is. Absolutely.
I'm still just like, you know what, I think I can say, I mean, granted, Frazier's won 6 times, right? Froning was, if I can remember this, 5, or at least individual was 4, and then he won team a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
No, Frazier's 5. Frazier's 5.
Frazier's 5. Froning is how many?
4 individuals and then 6 team.
Yeah.
It was like 10
He's
years.
10. Yeah.
10 years. Yeah. I still just have to go with Froning, because I feel like if he were watching this podcast and I said Frazier, he'd be like, watch this, and he could come back and do it again. He is just like, even if years after not training, like that, like longevity factor that some people kind of like, don't, or some people may like, kind of forget about when they're like training for the heat of the moment, he still like has it. But also, like, for someone like him, I feel like he kind of almost like revolutionized like the way that we train and the way that we prepare for competition. And, a couple of his like comps that he did, I remember watching like the documentary where he had the flu, all of regionals in one, and him and Scott Panchek were back and forth, and he was like snatching 275 with like 100-degree fever and like doing all these things you want to know. And then when he came back, his first, or may correct me if I'm wrong, either his first or second time, when he was in the second to last heat, entering the last day, and then somehow just blew everybody away and won a competition. That stuff just like blows my mind. But like, it's for Frazier, like I feel like it was just like foot on the gas all the time. Like, his work ethic was absolutely incredible. But there's just something to say about like the way Rich handled competitions. Like, Frazier, watching him, it was like by the second day, you're like, well, like, it'll be cool to see who comes in second place. Where like Froning's was like a little bit more of a dogfight, and it was really cool to see him like come out on top when you least expect it, but also you were like, I this might not be his year. Like, he may not get it.
He made you nervous, which Froning made you nervous, like on the edge of the seat. Where with Frazier, we just always knew after that first year that he was going to win.
Yeah. I think there was the year where they had the cuts, where it was like the running, squat, snatch, and rope climb, and then it was like handstand walk and the really light shoulder overhead. And then there was the whole mishap with like the ruck, so there was like kind of like put him out of place. But like every workout that you gave to him, I was like, he's just gonna demolish. Like, it didn't matter what it was, he was gonna blow it away. And Froning, I think it was just a little bit of a different era, but also it was really cool to see, like you said, it just kept you on the edge of your seat, and when you least expected, he just pulled through, and it was really cool to see.
Yeah, for sure.
Fire. Let's say hello to everybody. Kenneth DeLapp first. What's a great rabbit hole to fall into?
Yeah, when Cam said that when he found us because of Gabe, then he fell into the rabbit hole and checked out some more of our stuff. So yes,
great rabbit hole to fall into.
Thank you.
Extra sloppy, and it's Rich all day. Yeah, I'm with you. I absolutely. I've argued this multiple times, but I feel like Rich is the GOAT.
Same.
Like, what he's done for CrossFit.
Yeah.
Sorry, do you think that's? No, I was gonna say, do you think that's a part of it? I'm gonna ask you. We'll get into the MC. I really have I have a ton of questions about the MC. But we'll get into that. But do you feel like everybody? I feel like it is a thing where, did you give back to your community? Do you make your community better? I feel like that factors into who's the GOAT.
Yeah,
I just do.
I agree. Okay. And like what he did with Mayhem too. Like, I was very lucky that I got to go drop in there one time when I was in Tennessee in 2017. It's just like a remarkable facility. And I was I met him, actually. I should have prefaced that what I chose. Super nice guy. I mean, like, everybody that was there was very nice. but like he's doing like, you know, immaculate things for like, he has a big like foundation for it's like mayhem for mustard
Seed.
like
Yep.
yeah, where he helps raise money for that to help families and kids in the area. And then just like his general, like his whole, you know, like with the mayhem programming and how it's like starting to go like international and stuff. So like it seems like what he's doing is like, you know, really it's helping the not just the community of Cookeville, Tennessee, but the community of CrossFit as a whole. It's really cool to see.
Would you say that also the reason why you would pick him for the GOAT is because he, now that we're talking it out, which is kind of weird because we all know his history and everything like that, but he kind of is the definition of CrossFit, not just a CrossFit Games athlete where he shows up at the CrossFit Games as an athlete. He wins it 4 times. He wins it multiple years on a team, but then his own community and kind of like you said, changing the entire look of what CrossFit community is. Yep. He kind of is the definition of CrossFit as a whole, not separating the two. Would you say that kind of factors into a little bit of why you think that he is the GOAT?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like, I think that he's always like, you know, he's ate, slept, and, you know, been breathing CrossFit for years now. And he's always taken like that methodology that we had from the start. And it's just, you know, he's done the same thing like we've done with competition. It's just, you know, gone with how it's advanced and how it's increased with these, like, you know, they call like the third wave adaptation, where not to get like nitty gritty with times, but like, you know, having a sub 3 Fran was really cool. And then people are doing a sub 2 Fran. And like, that's how we've seen competition grow. So being able to compete with that and also be able to grow with that and still be the best in like that kind of form, but also still being able to like kind of foster and grow this community that he has and the community that he's created within the sport simultaneously to like both at the like the best potential in a way.
Yeah.
Also like puts him up there for me as well. And for probably a lot of people.
So are you saying that you have a less than 2 minute Fran?
No. Maybe for the round of 21. Yeah. The fastest I've done it under 3 minutes by like 2 seconds one time, and I'm still recovering from that. And that was many years ago.
I don't think I've ever done Fran in less than 3 minutes ever. Babe, have you ever done Fran in less than 3?
No.
I don't think I've ever done Fran in less than 3.
Yeah. My competition days have gone from doing Fran in that time, if I could, to if I see Fran programmed, I'm gonna like take a rest.
Not show up. Yeah, not show up. Yep.
Yeah.
A normal CrossFit experience, I guess you should say.
Yes.
All right, let's go. You're an MC to the stars. You literally stand on the competition floors and call out what people are doing, which I can't tell you how much I respect on so many levels. I feel like that's a skill. Like after talking to Gabe, and I feel like that's a skill that you just it's almost like a stand-up comedian almost. Like I give that much respect to what you guys do.
Yeah.
Because it's crazy. Are you just like a comedian in high school? Are you a comedian in middle school? Like how do you find out that that's what
you
do?
Voted most talkative? Like, how do you start this and how do you get here?
I'm so flattered that you're comparing me to a comedian, because as an MC and a coach, I try to crack jokes. And if I get like one small like snicker, I'm like, I won, I peaked, right? It's not often that people laugh at my jokes. I make very corny jokes. So thank you so much. But I've always been comfortable talking in front of people. Like, you know, public speaking or presenting has always been something that I've been okay with. You know, going back to like school, being able to like have something where I need to explain and present has always been way better for me than like taking a written test or doing like something else that doesn't involve being in front of people. I've always been very comfortable. And for myself, I've always like tried to see myself as like a leader in some sort. Like, you know, I'm the manager at my gym. I've been a manager at other gyms. You know, I've been, you know, leading up the coaches. I was like captain of my basketball team. And that requires a lot of like being in front of people and being able to speak what you know and being able to share your knowledge as best you can. And being in front of people was never, you know, an issue, or talking in front of people. And when I first started emceeing, I when I got asked to. So my very first time was the Invictus Invitational, and it was during COVID. So it was July of 2020, and it was July of 2020, and it was outside at Rack House Fitness in Woburn, and Burn Prince from Invictus put it on, and it was small. It was like maybe 10 to 15 RX women and RX men from all different places. And it was I remember got an interview, or I got an email like the Wednesday before, and it was like job assignments. And I told him, I was like, whatever you want me to do. I was like, I'll, haul equipment, set up barbells, I'll drag out rowers, it was outside. I was like, I'll drag mats outside. I will judge. I will make sure the clock is plugged in. I don't know. I was like, whatever you need me to do. I was like, whatever you need me to do. And he sent an email. He's like, you're going to be the MC. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, me? I was like, he's going to give me a microphone. I was like, he wants me to run my mouth on the mic. I was like, sure. And I was like, are you positive? He was like, I'm super positive. And I was like, thank you. And just from there, I just like, I can't say like it felt natural, because there's some times where it hasn't, but like, I just went out there and I was like, just have fun, tell people what's going on, keep track of the clock, tell people what they're doing, hey, this person in lane one's doing this, they're doing that, keep track of the leader. And then just be loud, be positive, try to get people pumped up. And ever since then, that's what I've been doing, with a little bit more kind of like critiquing from other people that I've worked with. But that's kind of how I fell into it.
How nerve-wracking was it the first time that you went out onto the floor?
It wasn't that first time. I get more nervous now than I did that very first time, because that first time I was like, it was in the middle of summer, and the only thing I did to prepare was like, I watched one video, and I was like, it's going to be really sunny that day. I borrowed a buddy of mine's like big straw hat. I was like, these are the two things I need to do, was get this big goofy hat that I'm going to wear, because in the video I saw the guy wearing it. I forget who it was. It was somewhere at the CrossFit Games. And I watched this one video just to see like, just how it like rolls. And I was just like out in the sun with like a White Claw in my pocket and just like having a good time. And that's because it was like a party. It was a party. Like, it was a competition, but it was just like, we just like wanted something to celebrate, something to do outside, like during COVID, as like, it was the first week in Mass that gyms opened up. And I wasn't really nervous. I was just like, I'll have fun with it. I was like, I'll, say people's names. I'll just kind of roll, see what happens. And it kind of just like came to me that day. And when I finished, I was like, how'd I do? I was like, good, bad, in between. And they were joking around. They were like, we're going to just call you MC now. And I was like, cool. I was like, that was a lot of fun. And I was like, and we'll see what, and then after that, I was like, that's it. Like, I was like, I don't know if I'll ever do it again. And then, the next Invictus, and then the third time I did Invictus, I was like, I think I want to branch out. I think I want to see where I can get with this locally. I was like, I want to see what other events I could do, if other events even like really care about this. Because when I competed, I couldn't hear anything besides my own breathing or like my judge.
If there's any
the MC was an afterthought.
And not like if you got bad reaction from the crowd, which if you got bad reaction from the crowd, I definitely want to hear about that. But like, if you felt like if you didn't do a good job, what got you, like, what happens? Do you go home and you just beat yourself up and you're like, I'm just going to practice and figure it out? Or yeah, go ahead.
So really, if I try to keep note of like things that may like go wrong when I'm on the floor. So like the biggest thing is like miscalling like who's in the lead, because like the goal is like, you're trying to like create the storyline, and you're trying to, bless you, you're trying to create the storyline, and you're trying to inform people of what's going on. Like, basically it's like when you're like, what I've been taught is like, you're basically explaining to people what's going on, like if they have no idea like what is actually going on, not like trying to teach them like what CrossFit is, but just being like, this person's in the lead, this person's second, third, every so often, if there's like a moment where you can like shout out like another lane or so, because people like hearing their name and they like hearing their team name called, and it's like, you want to give everybody a little love and like, acknowledge that they're there. That was always kind of like the big like blunder for me, was if I like, Garrett in lane one has 5 reps left, and then all of a sudden, Colleen's done. And I'm like, and Colleen finished a minute ago, and you're like, oh, and it's awkward.
Yep.
And it's super awkward. And that's happened to me like a dozen times. I think the worst one was at the Southeast Showdown where there was like two girls that were like neck and neck, rep for rep, and I was in there. And there was a girl that literally 2 minutes ago finished, and she was like completely recovered. And she thought it was hilarious. She was like, I was done 2 minutes ago. And I was like, I wish you just came up and tapped me on the shoulder and said like, hey, I won. I was like, that would have been nice. Because it's just the way the rig was designed.
Nobody comes and is like, hey, look over here. Hey, nobody.
You don't have anybody in your ear telling you what's going on. You're literally responsible for what is going on the floor.
Yeah. It's just me, the mic, and just my eyes and my vision, and just making sure that I can see everybody. And every space is different. Like Fight for the Fittest was great because it's like everything's right in front of you. I can see all 7. It was like 7 to 9 lanes at a time. I can see everybody there. And that was a very professional, organized comp. One of the best comps I've ever emceed. Sam and Kelly did a great job. So it was like, some workouts were like foolproof where it's easy for like people to see when they like advance like the cone, like I'm on round 2, I'm on round 3, I'm on round 4. So that helps me. But then also being able to see when like 2 people are on round 4, like that's what you're watching for. But at least I know like these 2 lanes are in the like, neck and neck for the lead right now. Like this is what I'm talking about. But also keeping an eye on like, somebody's like creeping in third, or like if something else happens that's like kind of big, like that type of stuff. But it's really just trying to scan the room and what's going on. And some like landscapes are different than others. It's really easy when they're all in front of you, but I've done some before where like there's a rig separating the middle and there's like 4 lanes on one side, 4 lanes on the other. I've done some floors before where like there's actually like lanes I can't even see because of like where people are standing, and I'm like, I'm going to do my best to get over there, but it's going to be tough because majority of people over here, and that's probably where all the action is. That's where most of the people are looking, and they're going to want to listen in and see what I'm talking about, or like their buddies are in competing over there and they want to see how they're doing, that type of deal.
Well, hold on. You asked if she wanted to know, and we all want to know, have you ever had any really bad reaction from the crowd? Have you ever been booed?
I've never been.
Hold on. I definitely like now as I've talked to Gabe and like realized this, I feel like what you guys do really is kind of a type of a stand-up comedy where but almost so much where you guys can't practice. Like if you practice, you have to practice live, and there's no other way to do it. And so when you do it, if you suck, like you just have to suck.
Yeah.
Until you get better and better and better.
You just keep going at it.
Yeah. Like you have no other option. So if there was, I guess, like if you've ever bombed before or like just been like, hey, I felt like shit about this. What do you do? Do you go home? Do you beat yourself up? How do you practice to get better? You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing.
So I've never like really bombed. Like I said, there's just been like points in times where I've missed things and I'm like, I got to make a note of that. But I always like my way of preparing is trying to do something a little bit different. So like for me, and from what I've learned from like working with people that have been doing forever, is like kind of like the language you use. Like if I like keep saying the same things at the end of workouts, like when it's finished or like when it starts, like trying to change it up. It's like similar to coaching where like if you just keep saying the same cue, people are just going to get the same coaching. And so for like emceeing is like, if I keep like saying like with the same inflection in my voice, or if I keep like, saying the same thing at the very end when they finish, like it's just going to become routine and mundane. It's just going to like keep like kind of, that tone at the end flat. So like, that's how I try to like, when I come home, I'm like, did I like just keep saying like, well done at the end of every heat? Or like, did I like not like have as much like excitement when somebody was finishing? And like, I try to think of that like when I go into it. I've had some comps that like, the smaller ones they're more challenging, but they're more fun for me because it's like local ones that like my friends are at, and they're like people I know, and they, they really appreciate like when I'm there, and like I appreciate everybody that's there. But like, of course, the bigger ones that I've done, like Wadapalooza or even Fight for the Fittest, like the more excitable I am, the more excitable the crowd can be. But there's been a couple times where like I learned this in Daytona. I went to the Atlantic Coast Classic, and the guy who ran the event, he was like, it drives me nuts when people say like, make some noise, or like, crowd, there's 2 minutes left, like get people pumped up, because like the most authentic excitement is when like they do it on their own, when I'm like calling the action. And I did in Daytona out of like just instinct. I like yelled out loud and I was like, we got 90 seconds left. I want to hear this place going. And it literally got quieter. And I was like, okay, that was like, and then I looked over and the three other MCs were like tears coming out of their eyes, red in the face, laughing. And I was like, I earned that. I was like, I earned that one. And one of the guys I worked with, his name's Chris Anovi. He's from Florida. He was like, that's why. He was like, hey, he's like, there's 90 seconds left. I was like, get him fired up. I call in the action. And then sure enough, later on that weekend, there's a similar situation where like, I was like, don't tell the crowd to get loud. I was like, make them get loud. Start like, woo, like, so like, bringing up the energy with what I'm talking about. And it worked. And I was like, this is great. I was like, I haven't asked the crowd to make some noise since. So that's like the biggest. What do you do with that
when you kind of feel like you didn't do well enough and you go sit back in your room and you need to do another competition and you need to get pumped up again? What do you do to get pumped up again after being like, oh crap, I messed up, or putting the pressure back on yourself? And how do you get pumped up to go back out on the floor the next week or the next month or whatever?
Yeah. So for me, it's like getting pumped up about it is just like, I try to just look more and more into the event, like as a whole. Like I try to study the workouts. I try to study like who's going there. Cause I feel like the more I know about who's going to be there and what it is they're doing, the more like knowledge I have to do my job. Like if I know what the workouts are, like for example, if I had a really hard time, like calling, like who the winners were, like spotting who the winners were, in a competition, yesterday, I would prepare myself by knowing what the workouts are a little bit more, and just kind of like almost like using my coaching brain a little bit, like, where is it, like, where's the workout going to start to get like really like, like really interesting? Where's it going to be when like that person's going to take the lead a little bit? Wow. Where's the time where, it's kind of going to get like the most exciting part. And I try to keep like track of like, the errors and things that I make, when I like miss calls, or if I, I'm calling the wrong name for the person or anything like that. And then I just try to apply like, okay, like what, like when I get back, like, yeah, I beat myself, like I put a lot of pressure on myself. Like I beat myself up about it. Cause like, I love this so much, and I want to, be the best at it that I can be, because like I said, I know how important it is now for people to have like an MC that not only can call the action and keep the crowd updated and informed, but can keep the crowd like on their feet and just like go nuts, because it's one of the most incredible feelings. So I try to like take notes of like, how did I miss this person? What was it that I missed? And like a big thing is like knowing like what lane is what lane. Like sometimes the floors switch. So it's like, it's like left to right is 1 to 10, and like right to left is 1 to 10, depending on what it is. So just being like, all right, yesterday I had a hard time knowing like what lane was what lane. So like my next event, I'm going to go there, like walk the floor. This is lane 1. This is lane 2. This is lane 3. And then just like, keeping track of like, for like the heats where like, if they do like a kind of like the reshuffling of like on like the second day where the top 10 are in like the final heat, who's in first, who's in second, like trying to create that storyline. So just trying to add in more, because if I didn't do enough, and it caused me to like slip up on like, again, missing, the biggest thing is like missing calls. Like what else do I need to do in order for that to not happen? And it's just like it's just putting in like the little bit of extra effort and just knowing more going into it, because that's just going to help me be able to talk more and be more correct and, create the storyline.
So you say you put a lot of pressure on yourself. Do you feel outside pressure too from anybody in these events that you MC?
A little bit. Yeah. I would say that honestly, the biggest pressure is just like when you're in that environment and you see all these people around, like you're in control of like the mood, you're in the control of the energy, you're in control of the vibe. So if I see like a ton of people around here, it's like, I feel like I personally like put on myself, I'm like, it's my job to get these people going. Like I got a huge crowd, but that type of stuff, like it really excites me. Like I love like the heats where there's like hundreds of people watching, or the most people watching, and there's like a lot of energy. Like the fight for the fittest with the elite heats, there's a ton of people watching, and I was like, this is going to be good. I was like, before that heat, I was like, took a deep breath, grabbed my water, and I was like, 10 minutes of just pure, just foot on the gas and just all the energy I can. And it was like berserk. Right. And I try to do that for every heat because like the scale people deserve that. The RX division deserves that.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's hard where it's like, it's only 3 teams and I'm like doing the best I can to like bring the energy, but it's like 3 teams and they're like, you know, they're doing everything they can. There's like nobody watching. So I'm just like trying to keep the people, you know, pumped up as much as I can. So I feel like the pressure comes from, you know, when I get hired, there is expectations. But luckily, like they're hiring me because they've seen me somewhere before and they're like, we know what you do. Like, we love what you do. They'll tell me specific things to say sometimes if it's like sponsor related or like I said in Daytona, they were like, just don't tell the crowd to get pumped up. Like, just inform. So sometimes there's that pressure, but really it's like, just like I feel like to me, it's like the same pressure I had when I was like competing, which I only did locally, but like when you're in that like final event and there's hundreds of people watching and you're like, now's not the time to make a mistake. Now's the time to give everything that I can. And that's how like I approach, you know, when I do these bigger events and there's a lot of people around.
Has your pressure ever gotten so heavy that you almost quit and never wanted to MC again?
You know, it hasn't. And one of my like favorite quotes in my head is like, you know, pressure makes diamonds or it bursts pipes. And, you know, there's only 2 ways to come out of it. That's just something like I always say to myself. It's something that I see a lot. And to me, it's like, you know, pressure is a privilege because people, when you are pressured that way, they expect something out of you because they believe in you and they understand like what you're capable of. And it's like what I think about like my job, like as a coach, like I don't feel pressure to be the best coach I can, but like I know like when there's times where like, you know, they're kind of like there's pressure on me to, you know, coach like these other classes or work with members or whatever it is, like it's because they believe in me and like they trust me and they understand that like I can do this and I can make this difference for these people. And like the pressure that I feel when I'm emceeing, that's like they're putting me on the main stage on the floor because they're like they have more faith in me than I may have in myself. But it's a good feeling, but at the same time, it's like those moments where like there is pressure. When I finish and I feel like I did a good job, it's like you feel like a diamond. You feel like you're on top of the world. And I'm like, I always say to myself, like every time I finish an event, I'm like, I wish I could do this every day. I probably would lose my voice by the time I'm 40, but I would, I wouldn't be able to talk for a long time. But like, you know, when I finished Fight for the Fittest, I was like, if I could have every weekend like this, I would be the happiest man alive.
What does your lady say? Like when you travel and when you go, like you travel a lot, obviously. There's no way that you don't. So what does your lady say?
What does my lady say? My lady, her name is Kate. She is the absolute best person. I love her very much. What does she say? She
the hardest question of the entire podcast. What does your lady say?
She is the absolute most supportive of me when I go to do these events. I could be like, hey, there's a cross event in Timbuktu and they want me there next week. And she'd be like, what do you need me to do? Like she is always there, always has my back. That's her right there. That's our trip in Greece. She is, oh, no, she'll love that. That's our trip in Greece. We went there for 2 weeks. Her birthday was in August, or like a week before mine in August, and mine was the very end. So we went there for our birthdays. Yes, it was an amazing trip. And but she is an absolute gem, like an absolute just gem of a human. When I'm gone, she makes sure that like when I get home, like the laundry is done, my meal prep is done. That way I can just get home and just like sit, relax, give her a big hug. And then, you know, we have a dog too, hang out with the dog, and then I go to work and I go do whatever I have to do. She has driven me to the airport very early in the mornings before she had to go to work. She has, you know, been there, you know, with a big smile and open arms when I've come home from any trip that I've gone, whether it's been Long Island or Florida, Maryland, anywhere. But she is, you know, I'm her biggest fan, and I would like to think that she's my biggest fan. And I think she probably has her ear on the door right now listening to me, maybe. But no, she couldn't be any more supportive if she tried. She's wonderful.
Is she the one that when you're like freaking out if you have to go on the floor, or if you're freaking out because you feel like you had a bad showing, or she's the one you're like, share
Yeah.
everything with, and yeah.
Yeah, she's always there. She if it's the local stuff, she'll always come to because we have friends that do CrossFit that will do the comps, and she's always the one that when I'm on the floor, because I don't have the best habit of keeping myself fueled. You know, I walk
We
over.
never
and I have 2
do.
minutes.
Our wives take care of us. Yeah, for sure.
That's what we're here for.
Yes, yeah, she's the one that, like, if I have 90 seconds between eats, I look over and she's on the sideline with like a snack or something to eat, and she's like, come on, and then she literally will like, just like, I have like 2 bites, and I'm like, thank you so much for this. So she'll like get me, like, you know, she makes sure I have a water, because if she wasn't there, I probably just wouldn't eat or drink. I'd just stand there and be like, oh, I should get something to eat, and then I wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
So she's always been there for that. But yeah, she's always the one, like, if I have a hard time with it, or if it's like a rough competition, or if it's on the other end, it's the most amazing competition. She's like the first person I tell, because I get too excited. Sometimes I don't even wait to get home. I just call her and I'm like, it was great, or I'm like, could have went better. It was a hard time. You know, and she's always open ears for that, and she's always great to talk to for that stuff.
When you are complaining about it, is she just like, yo, shut up, you did great? Like, it's amazing to watch you do what you do. Just shut up. Like, you were amazing.
I mean, a little bit. If she's there, she understands. She's like, you did awesome. But like, if she isn't there, then she's just like, you know, what happened? You know, what was it? And then she's just, you know, there's always tomorrow, or there's always another event. But the ones that she's there, I feel like, you know, the local ones I've always done good at, because it's just more comfortable there. I'm just more, you know, it's more like it still is my scene. You know, it's all my friends. It's all people that I worked with, like, 2 or 3 times. So it's just competitions. I'm very like used to being there, and I'm comfortable there. And it's, you know, the room for error isn't as big as it was at first.
Your friends aren't like, holy crap, this is what you do. Like, they see you do it, and they're not like, because I'm sorry. I can't. I love to watch MCs work. The few times I've gotten to go to competitions, watching MCs do what they do, like, for me, it's just like,
so cool.
There's no way I would ever be able to do that. There's no, like, my mind wouldn't like work that fast. It's just not like I couldn't walk. How do you even remember their names? Like, even with the nameplates, I wouldn't remember their names. Like, that's amazing. And pronounce them? Forget it.
Yes,
there's no way.
Yeah, the names is always tricky. To me, it's like the nameplates is hard, because I have somewhat decent vision, but like, if I can't read the nameplates from too far away, so like having the sheet in my hand helps. And then luckily I feel like I'm good with names. So like from coaching too, like, you see the same people all the time. I'm good with names from coaching. So I just, like, when I introduce the lanes, I try to just, you know, as my best, you know, I look at it once or twice, but I try not to look at it so much, just because you are a little sharper. But every so often I'm like, and in lane 5, and I like draw a blank, and I'm like, you know, Colleen. I'm like, there we go. And I'm like, oh, I got it. And I'm like, there's like that awkward pause, and then they're kind of just like, hold on, and then you say it, and they're like, oh, and then like, or like the people that are cheering that person on just kind of laugh, and I'm like, sorry, like, fell out of my head. You know,
little dramatic pause to kind of
dramatic pause,
yeah, to make it bigger.
I'll even sometimes I'll like add a little bit more inflection. I'll like say their name with like the most, like, you know, excitement, and then everybody's like, woo, and that's
pronounced ever possible, right? Like the best pronunciation of it that you've ever said. I like this question. I'm gonna ask it. This is from Jody. Hi, Jody. Have you ever seen no reps in the competition and bite your tongue? That's a good one.
Oh God. Yes. Yeah. So competition and coaching standards are much different. When like a squat's a squat for sure, but every so often you see, and I see this a lot with like heavy lifts, and I try really hard to like not say, obviously not say anything, but not like react in a way like if I saw it in like a class that I would see, like you see a heavy clean, they catch with like the knees forward and like the back all arched, and I'm like, oh God, and I'm like, hold on, take a breather, let's try this.
Or so they just pop it off their chest before they actually stand a full extension. I hate that one.
Oh, come on. I did that all the time. That shit works.
I hate that. From a coach's perspective, it's like,
bam.
it's not what we were taught. It's not what we were taught.
Yes.
Whatever. Full extension. stand it
Stand
up
at full
and then
extension.
drop it. Yep.
Yes, bar in the frontal plane, elbows parallel to the floor. Place, drop it down. Place it down if you have to. Yeah.
Whatever.
Listen,
I
I
do-
love Scott Panchak, and he does it all the time. Scott Panchak is one of the best athletes in CrossFit,
True.
and he pops that shit off his chest all the time. I'm like, technically, it's a no rep. Technically, it's a no rep.
Whatever. I lifted it. Did I lift it? Is it up? Is it up
True.
here?
You did all the
I
work.
lifted it.
You did all the hard
work is
stuff.
done. I don't know why I have to show flexibility to be able
Full
for the
extension, baby. Full
Shut up.
extension.
whatever.
Full extension.
Yeah.
I gotta say, no, you did all the hard work. If you got it there, right? You just 2 seconds longer, just 2 more
It's
seconds,
on-
and then place it down.
Yeah,
That's it.
whatever.
Yeah.
I don't have 2 seconds.
Long enough.
You know what?
It's funny
I
with the
don't-
cleans.
Nope, hold on.
Sorry.
I don't have 2 seconds. You know why I don't have 2 seconds? Because I'm 6 feet tall. So if you're 5'7", I don't have get my elbows underneath the clean. I have pop, drop, and lock.
Yeah.
I don't know. Pop, drop, and lock. That's what I got.
Oh god.
But go ahead with the
Oh,
cleans. What were
God.
you gonna say?
Thank
I-
you, Kenneth.
You gotta
Kenneth,
practice.
you're my
Gary,
man.
next time you gotta practice. Just
Thank
practice
you.
long enough to say, I got it. Just like
That's
that.
it.
No.
Catch and go.
That's
I
it.
got it. That's
Yep,
all you
yep.
gotta do.
I don't have time to say hi. I'm 6 feet. I don't have time to say shit. I have time to get it to my shoulders and drop it on the floor. That's it.
That's
Thank you, Kenneth. You're my only friend. What up? Continue
God,
on,
that's good.
coaches. Level 2, level 1,
I say I'm not a level 2, just a level 1.
whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know
Oh,
where
God,
you
that
guys
was
were.
good.
Well, you were starting to say something about the clean. Were you gonna
Yeah,
say
my
something about
bad. Go
tell a
ahead.
story about the clean and like competition
Oh.
setting or whatever?
Like with like the heavy lifts and the maxes, you see a lot of things that are like, it's not more standard, but it's kind of more like scary, where it's just like, oh, like you lift like that, and like by the competition standard, like they got it, like they did a squat clean, but like their heels are up, both their knees touched and elbows touched, and they did stand up all the way.
Yep.
And the judge said, good, because what happened, they pulled it from off the floor, they caught it in the front rack position, their hips were below parallel, then they stood all the way up. Sometimes when no reps, I mean, if it's like the smaller local ones and they're kind of like, I've been like, they're people that I'm used to, I'm always just kind of like, it's probably out of like stepping out of my way a little bit, or like stepping on toes. I'm like, just keep an eye on that, just be, if it's like really egregious. But it's more or less like just, everybody moves differently. I know I'm not the best mover. Like I can't even like I can't go like all the way overhead. My shoulder mobility is terrible. So when I do like shoulder to overhead, people are probably like, that guy does that. I'm like, yeah. I try not to. But
Yep.
this is my full extension. It's not pretty, but like by the laws of my shoulder mobility, this is full extension. And I know other people have that issue too. But I
Thank
always
you.
bite my tongue. I try not to step on. I try not to step on toes. The
By the
AFJ is
laws of
great
my
about holding
height
the line.
mobility, that's what I got. Ortega, what's up, Cam?
Oh, what's up? What's up, Jonathan? He's a great guy. He's a
Dude,
great guy.
Ortega's
I worked with him.
everywhere.
Yeah, I worked with him a couple times. Miami, I want to say Maryland too. Metcon Rush, yeah, I think Metcon Rush, and Asbury Park. Asbury Park, he's the man. Guys
He
did a
was
great
at
job with the
Strong, New
camera.
York, and was trying to get us to go into the city. We don't
We
to
don't do the city.
the outside of the city. We don't actually go into
We don't
the
cross
city.
the line.
So, but he was trying to get us
I don't
to go
blame you.
to.
City's
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you met your girl, were you already emceeing?
I actually met her. I met her at the gym I work at now. So it's called Spark Fitness and Andover CrossFit. So Spark Fitness is like the whole facility. It's a health club with like PT, small group training, kind of like not group exercise classes, but like group exercises classes, tennis, and they have a CrossFit affiliate, Andover CrossFit. So my very first event that wasn't Invictus was called Fight the Darkness. And it was a fundraiser comp that the gym was hosting for, it's called the Longest Day Foundation, where it's a foundation that helps support families who have a family member with Alzheimer's. So it's like a local foundation where they help with like the funding for treatment or for like assisted living. And my boss and one of my good friends, her name's Kelly Bossler, she posted that she had this event. So I reached out and I was like, hey, if you're looking for an MC, I was like, I'd love to come down. Or if you're just looking for like any volunteers, I was like, I love what this is. Please let me know. And she was like, oh my God, if you could come down and MC. We were going to co-MC, but then she kind of like got tied into doing some other stuff that day. So I MC the whole time. She was like, I'd love for you to come down and to help out. And I was like, cool. I was like, just let me know time and date and I will be there. No problem. So when I went there, my girlfriend was a member and that was where I met her. So I met her there. So that was 2 years ago in August. And we started like hanging out and like talking like, like 3-4 weeks later, but that was where I met her the first time. And yeah, it was a very special day. And I now work there. I wasn't working there at the time. I was working at a different gym. And I was always been, good friends with my friend with Kelly. And that was in July. So 5 months later down the line, right at the start of 2023 is when I began working at Spark. 2023 is when I began working there. So it's kind of like full circle. I got to meet everybody there. I met her, and then I kind of like kept in touch for a little bit, and then kind of popped in and out. And now I work there full time.
How old were you when you met her?
I was 27. Yes. No, 26. Sorry, I was 26 when I had first met her. Yeah.
Okay, that's the borderline of when you can say like I met her and we were just talking. Like you're borderline. After that age group, you can't say that anymore, dude. Like
no. Okay, we had started dating.
Okay. I'll give you that.
Like who slid into whose DM first, that kind of that story.
Guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty.
So she obviously met you there. She saw that you were emceeing or whatever. And so when you guys first started,
Bruce Wayne, what's up, dude?
When you guys first started dating, obviously we're having those type of conversations. Like I travel, or the goal is that I want to travel to do all of this and whatever. Like how were those conversations? Like, I know you said she's super cool, super supportive. Has it always been like that? Or were you guys like really able to have those honest conversations from the beginning to be able to be as successful and supportive as you guys are now?
Yeah, we've always been able to have those honest conversations. That's like my favorite thing, or like our best thing, is that we communicate really well. And when I first started dating her, like I just was DMing every single comp anywhere. I was like, I did that competition, which was local. I did the South Showdown, which is also local, but there was no talks of like me going anywhere that required a flight or like a long drive, because I had essentially like no experience outside of the like 4 competitions I had done. So as that time came around, I think it was like close to a year when we were dating, where I got hired for like my first 2 big comps. And the first one was Metcon Rush in Maryland. And then the second was Asbury Park, which actually was like, Asbury Park was like the first event, but Metcon Rush hired me first. So it was like back-to-back weekends in August. Mm-hmm. And it was right around her birthday, and it was right before mine at the very end of August. And I was just like, I magically DM'd Metcon Rush, and Tim and Becca, who run that event, are incredible. And Tim answered, and he was just like, hey, our other MC backed out. He's like, can you do a phone call? And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I have a phone call with this event in Maryland. I was like, it's like legit. It's a real deal. They got the games athletes that go there. And she was super excited and super supportive of me. And then when they hired me, and I was like, I'm going. I was like, they want me to come down there. I was like, it's legit. I was like, this isn't a car ride down the weekend. I was like, this is 2 days. I was like, this is 2 days, and I got to fly out this day and I'll fly home this day. And she was super supportive about it. She always was, excited and was happy for me, and she still is. And Asbury Park kind of fell into it too. And I would always like kind of share the messages with her and just being like, hey, like, what do you think? And she says the same thing. She's like, go for it. She's like, go for it. See what it's like. See what they offer. See what they don't offer. See what they, tell you, what, talk to them, and just like, what's the worst thing they can do when you reach out? They say no. Or you could just be like, sorry, I don't think I should come. I don't think it's like, it's worth it. Or I don't think that it would be a good fit. And that was how I got my first 2 big ones. And those were back-to-back weekends in August, and she was on board. I live with her now. I wasn't living with her at the time. So I was just, I was living my parents back home in Lynn, and I was just driving from there to Asbury and driving home. And then same thing when I flew to Maryland. We had a wedding the night before I flew out there. So we went to this wedding, and I woke up the next day, coached the first 2 classes, and then hopped on a plane and just was like, off to Maryland we go. And so she was always, those conversations always went well. She's always been supportive. My big thing now is like, I try to just plan out as much as I can ahead, because we're busy. We have friends getting married, and we have like, our, family stuff, or like weekends where we just want to go do something, and travel, and whether it be local or farther. And we want to, go away and do our stuff, or like go somewhere with the dog and, have like kind of like us time. So, the communication now is just kind of like looking, 6, 7, 8 months ahead for events, and just being like, I'm going to have an event this weekend, just so we have a shared calendar. So those conversations are easier now, that we can kind of like, put things down. This is the weekend I'll be away. This weekend we got nothing. We can do this, or, this weekend we have a wedding, that type of deal, that type of conversation.
Heidi, what's up, girl? Say hi to everybody.
Did you also see who else is here?
Let me know when you want to do a podcast with Mac Life on the Mac Life. Oh, there you go, Cam, sir. Go ahead.
Whoa.
Hello, Savon.
DM somebody.
What's up, Savon?
I don't know who's running I don't know who that is. It could be Souza. It could be
the
Savon.
Man, could be the man himself.
But
I mean, the Mac Life is Savon's podcast, right? Is that what it is? I'm assuming. Or you said on
the Mac.
Is that what it said?
Life?
It says on the Mac Life.
On the Mac Life. I don't know, dude.
Didn't you just wasn't that the competition?
DM somebody.
I'll DM Savon. I'll DM him
right
now.
Everybody.
I will.
It's happening. What? Oh my God, it's happening. It's happening.
It's happening. It's happening.
Vindicate. What's up, dude?
Vindicate.
We are not wearing, well, she is, but
I am.
I'm not wearing Vindicate shirts right now because they are all washed and ready to go to Crash Crucible.
But I told her, Vindicate, that we don't have to pack all of them because we're going to buy more when we get there.
I'm packing all of them.
If you have any extra smalls, bring them, because that's what our kid is. So I would like to buy him a couple extra small Vindicate t-shirts if you have any. If you have any. One of the things that Gabe said about the space is that you have, he's kind of in that space where like
Jody Lynn, it's Avi.
It's Avi, probably. Like, do you have a mentor? Do you have a group of you that like once you got into the MC scene, like you knew you could reach out to this person or that person? And if you didn't have one in the beginning, how have you cultivated one now?
So I say the biggest group of people that are like mentors are everyone that I worked with in Wadapalooza. So Mike Richards, who has been doing like all the semis events, he's been an OG for a while. Larry Moss, Joe, he's from Spain. That guy, when I was in Wadapalooza, I was with Joe and I was with Bella Martin. And that was our group. It was us three, and we shared the mic and kind of went to all the different floors. So it's like, day 1 you're on Flagler, day 2 you're in Tina Hills, day 3 you're on like the Barge, and then day 4 it's just like all kind of all over the place. That was like our clique. It was me, Joe, and Bella. And then Chris Anove from Florida, he was great. And then he had a couple buddies that were down there. So we have like kind of a tight knit crew where we always like, whether it be Instagram or text, we go back and forth. I'm trying to think about Miranda, who her former last name was Paredes. I believe she just got married, Miranda Quinn. And there's another girl, Britt, who's like from out that direction, who, we kind of have like it's not a very active group text, but like we have a group text, and every so often somebody will chime in. But, Joe is someone who like I've gone back and forth with a bunch through Instagram. Bella as well, someone who like, we frequently check in on each other. I talked to Mike, a week ago, and that was really cool. And that's kind of like to me, that's like the group that like I reach out to. That's the group that like they check in on me. I kind of check in on them. There's another buddy of mine, his name is Joe Roberto, who's worked with the Grid League, and I got to work with him down in Daytona. So him and I, go back and forth. Oh, we did MetCon Rush in Maryland together too. So like we have this like group, Gabe included. Gabe reached out to me about the Summit Games this past week and about coming down there, but I had another event. So we have like a group of like where we're always kind of like we're all rooting for each other. We're all rooting for each other. We're all like trying to help each other as best we can, and we're all trying to like, because every event has multiple MCs, and it's not like competitive. Like, of course I would love to MC every single event, and that's not possible. But like if somebody reaches out to me and they're like, hey, can you come to this event on this weekend? And I'm booked. I know of like 10 people that immediately I'll be like, ask them. They are fantastic. They'll make your event as great as it can be. Reach out to these guys, or and they've done the same for me with like when I went to Daytona, or like when Gabe asked me to go to the Summit Games. Like we're all very good about like trying to help find those opportunities for people as best we can. And also just kind of reaching out just to check in and just like say what's up. Like, you know, hey, it looks like you've been on the road a while, or whether, you know, what else is new. Like they're all really good people. They're all really good people. And they're, you know, hopefully when the time comes in Miami, I'll be able to work with all of them again. And it was a blast first time, and I can't wait to see them all.
Yeah. That's
the
really
whole
cool.
space is really good
Yeah.
people. Like, so,
It is.
Thank
what's
you,
up,
bro?
Rolo? Thank you, bro.
Thank you for our $1.
The whole space is they're all really good. You know what I mean? Like Summit
Yes.
Games, Carl, HGR, CBD, like super cool dude. He's competing there right now. He's like, everybody just kind of tries to help each other. And so I think we're just trying to figure out if what the F?
It's
Mac?
Sevon. He did it. He explained it.
No, Mac. I know. Wait, okay, hold on. What is happening right now? Because someone said I think he means MC life.
No.
Mac equals actually a word that indicates hood power of a gangster, specifically Afro-American. His command in crack dealing, slut management, he runs the entire industry related to. Okay. Jeez.
Interesting. That took a turn.
I was gonna do this next week, but okay.
No, Kenneth has it. He has it right here. That's actually what it is. The mac and cheese life.
Mac and
That's
cheese
what I'm
life.
about.
Okay, that's fire. Fire.
I'm more about the mac and cheese life myself.
I always like to ask this question and get.
He said Afro-American. I'm good.
Get your friend. Get your friend. He comes and hangs out with us, and he's talking about the Mac life. You talk, or we hear people talk about the balance between volunteering at events, and then when it gets to this value that you have of being paid for being an MC.
Yeah.
Like, how do you navigate that? And do you think that there is, like, in your own like perspective, is there like a number of events that you should have on a resume? Do you feel like it's the value from the beginning? Do you feel like it should be, payment from the beginning? Like, I would just love to hear kind of your thought process when it comes to the balance between volunteering and actually being hired to be able to go do these events, especially when you're traveling.
Yeah. So for me, starting off, volunteering was really the only option I had until like that first, like I got in touch with that first event, Metcon Rush, and they were like, actually had the conversation with me because I had no idea how much money any of them makes. Like I felt like I could have said any number and it would have been too low or too high. And I had no idea, like I had no research. So once I felt like, honestly, once I felt like events started to reach out to me more often, that was when I was like, okay, I need to put my foot down about these volunteering events. And, I was a volunteer at Wadapalooza, which was honestly one of the best experiences I had because I got to meet so many people and it opened up the doors for other opportunities. And it was a great, like it was a hard choice, but it was a good choice for me. And I was very lucky that I had some people to stay with, and they took care of us. They gave us all shirts, shoes. They fed us every single day. Like they put us in a good position. And it was a good experience because like that to me, like that was one of those things where like it was a kind of like two birds, one stone, where I got to meet the people that would help me get other events. And I got this like other events owners and creators got to see me. And then if they wanted me to come out, they would hire me. But like when I did Wadapalooza, I left that weekend. I was like, I can do this for real. I was like, this is what I can do. I was like, I actually was like able to like sit down with myself and be like, I'm really good at this and I deserve to get paid. I was like, I deserve to make some money from this. I deserve to, maybe change this and turn this into a career or have this be like the greatest side hustle to being a coach that I can have. Because I was like, I was just on the biggest.
Are you okay? Are you okay with it? Are you okay with it being the greatest side hustle you ever had? Like, if that's all it ever ends up being, are you okay with it being that? Like, it's just.
I say no now, but I also don't know how to. Like, I'm still working on how to not make it a side hustle. I really love what I do with coaching and like managing the gym. Like, I love my members. I love the people I work with. I am very lucky to be there. and that's like a good gig, and like there's upward growth in that area, and there's upward growth in like the coaching fields. But for this, it's like I feel like it could turn into a lot of avenues. Like I could maybe do other sports. I could do, like someone like Bella, who was on the floor emceeing, who's now doing like sideline reporting and doing more like storyline stuff with athletes, and that's like another avenue. So like it could turn into a lot of stuff. So like, am I kind of satisfied with it as a side hustle? I like if that's how it ends up being, then that's how it ends up being. But like right now, no, like I want it to be something that I can create more with, and something that I can do more full time if the opportunity kind of like arises and it makes sense to do. I eventually, like, my girlfriend and I, like, we want to get married, start a family. So I know that if I was a full-time MC and I travel 36 weekends a year, that's a lot. That's a lot. Or, that's 36 is aggressive, but like, I'm gone, 365 days in a year. I'm gone 200 something. That's a pretty long time.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Especially
because there's so many more events coming up too. Like it's not just the big main events. Like all of these local competitions are starting to create their own thing to get big. Like we saw that with Fittest.
Exactly.
We got to meet Christian Harris, who was there, and like I was just kind of asking him questions about like how it got started and what's the goal. And for him, he wants this to eventually be so big that you have all these MCs and all these athletes coming and all this sponsorship and all this type of stuff. And it seems like that a lot of local competitions are starting so small, but the goal eventually is to make them really, really big. So it's possible that you could have so many opportunities, but then that balance of home life and travel life.
Home life and travel life, and just like, quality of life in general. Like, I'm very lucky with like my routine I have now. I'm close to my job. I can work out every day when I can. I'm home with my girlfriend every day. I'm like 30, 40 minutes away from my family or my parents back where they live. And it's, it's something to think about too when that time comes. And like, to me, I feel like this upcoming year might bring me like the closest to having that kind of decision, just because I know there's like a lot of other events that I've been kind of chatting with, and it's like, a lot more travel that could happen once I kind of like finalize some things and have the conversations with like event owners and whatnot. But that's I forget what the question was prior to that, but yes, that's
would you be okay if it was just a side hustle? If it was like the greatest side hustle?
Yes. I don't think I would be okay with it. I don't think I would, because I like to take things as far as I can, and if I take it as far as I can and it becomes like the greatest side hustle I've ever did, then it's like it was meant to be. But I think I need to potentially think about exploring that route. Yeah.
Dude, Colleen, you need a spicy margarita. Sorry.
All right. Maybe not tonight, but
meme for time. Love you, bro. Thank you. My guy, are you going to, what's next for you? What's up next for you?
Right now, nothing. Right now, for the remainder of the year, nothing. Just working, hanging, just kind of chatting with more events, just trying to get out there. Hoping to go to, Waterpalooza again, Fittest of the Coast. I've worked with a couple of people that I've worked with Fittest, so that's, on my list of hoping to get out there too. Fittest experience, those are actually back-to-back weekends, so all three might be challenging, but it's definitely something I'm shooting for. I have a couple events in New Jersey next year. Right now, it's kind of like, at least from in my end, it's kind of like a lull. There's no comps around here. Everyone's just kind of like, the comp season's slowly getting over. I know like Crash Crucible is next weekend. There's like the MacFest in like Desert City and whatnot, but I've talked to those events and I'm not going out there. And so now it's just kind of preparing for next year, preparing for 2025 to, hopefully get some more events on the docket, get some more events on the, on the horizon.
What's your big goal? Like what's the comp you want the most?
In the comp I want the most, I would say is semis. I think that's the one I want the most. I want them all. I want everything. I want to do everything. I want to do games. I want to do. But I think for the next big one to do is, for me, that I would want to do is semis. It's just a whole different ball game, a whole different level, and I would love to be on that floor. Whether it be, we'll see what it is this year. I'm sure it'll be Syndicate and West Coast. I know they change a lot, but those two, Syndicate, West Coast, those would be the ones that I'd want to be at the most, for sure.
What's the difference between this voice and your MC voice?
My MCing voice.
Yeah, let's go. Give us something. I tried to get Gabe to do it. He kind of half did it, and then
Gabe was shy.
He gave us a little chub, but not a full chub.
I'm trying to think. How can I do this? How can I give you like my MC voice as best as possible?
Do I need to put something on television? I can put like a
like a CrossFit event.
Put an old games event.
Yeah. I could put some games porn on TV and see.
Go to
I don't know.
Go to my Instagram. I actually have some of the events from Fittest.
Oh, thank God you have that. That's much better. That's more authentic.
Videotaped.
Oh, see, we have Jan Clark. Come on, Cam, make the chat erect.
I was like creating a workout in my head. And I was like, you two are going head to head.
No, like this.
All right, here we go.
There you go.
Can you see it or?
I can't hear it.
Oh, you want me to hear?
Yeah.
He's right there. Oh, that's the judge.
That's not me.
What workout do you want? What do you want? Tell me. I'll pull it up right now. Pause.
Hey, do you have any from the lifting?
From what?
Oh,
from the lifting event? Do you have like a...
Get our IG. Jersey Joe lifting.
Yeah, Jersey Joe lifting.
Yes, that was the one. That was the one. He told me
Jersey Joe will appreciate this too.
He will. Yeah. He absolutely will.
He told me like that morning, he was like, I'm going to go for 300. And I was like, thank you for letting me know. I was like, I will be front and center.
Jersey Joe, just to let you know, we're using your video to make another man hot right now.
I don't think I can go and fast. I don't think I can fast forward it though. It's got to play.
Baby, you got to let it marinate. It's fine. You can't fast forward anything.
All right. Well, this is what I have.
There we go.
Because the girls went first.
Yeah, it went like I think it was like yeah, that's how it went.
There he is, right there.
There you go.
Those are my MC jeans.
You have MC jeans?
I just have one pair of jeans that I wore the last 2 weekends when I MC'd for some reason.
Yo, what up?
I just watched show yesterday. 3:15. Okay, fine.
But you can hear him.
Come on. 3, 2, 1, lift. 215 on the bar on the right. Like, I want to do it. Can I do it?
That was good.
No, okay, you're gun shy. It's fine. I'm not so what's up next is whatever your
2025.
2025.
And semifinals
right now.
Semifinals is the
is the goal.
Is the dream.
Yeah, that'd be the goal. That's the dream. We'll see,
That's
Wadapalooza, hopefully, and then from there, it's a good crew of people that also work in the semis and other events. So that'd be really cool to get connected with them and try to get on out there. Down in Tennessee and California, Syndicate and West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
That's the goal. Manifesting. I don't like to use the word hope. I will be there. Manifesting it.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, well, get out here. Well, you're in Boston, right? You're on the East Coast?
Yeah. Yep.
So hopefully
I'm north of Boston.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get to see you at some more events.
Back in Jersey. Because Gabe got us to go to Jersey once. It's possible he'll get us to go to Jersey again. But we're heading down to Crash.
Not bad.
We're heading down to Crash Crucible
that'd be
for
a
the
good
first
time.
So we're very excited about that.
I talked to Joe about that last week, and I think he did it the year before. He said it's a really, really good time.
Yeah.
He said
I think he's going to be there.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be there.
Yeah, he's competing this year.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
oh, that's
definitely
awesome.
hang out with us. You're always welcome back on here. And apparently, call or DM Sevon about the MC for reality. I'm the MC for reality. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, you better reach out to him.
Fair.
He invited you to reach out, so you should reach out for
definitely
sure.
do that.
Yeah,
Sure. I'll go shoot him a message right now. I'll shoot him a message.
I would shoot him and Sousa a message. Most likely Sousa's the one that's going to get it, but yeah, shoot messages out or pause. Don't shoot anything out. There's been baby oil shit happening lately, so don't do that.
This is awesome.
Yes, this is usually where part of the podcast goes to.
This is the end of the show. Joe is coming to Crash. Yeah, we know. Yeah.
And yes, Ortega, I don't know if you realized that I saw this one. Oh shoot, I'm going to like meet you at Crash. Yes,
we'll be at Crash.
We're coming to Crash.
I'll finally get to see that mustache in all its glory.
I really just want to see how
it's even better in
person.
It's perfect. It's perfectly turned. It's amazing.
You had to go there, G. I'm sorry.
I just
at the end of the show, that's me.
I want to see how short everybody is because we're tall.
And you're ginger. I definitely want to like. I love like when Shelby Neal was on Ginger. You can't see it because you're light, but he's literally the same Ginger as Colleen at this point. Or
I'm trying to find a.
Yeah, I mean, literally, you are Ginger. I laughed when Colleen was like, "Hey, I met this guy." I was like, "Oh, your brother? Okay." Like,
see, Ginger.
I'm very I always have a hat on. But yes, my hair is very red.
Yeah.
I actually might make a new thumbnail because I did not see this picture, and I think this is like a better indicator of the type of person that you are.
How short are we?
Like,
ouch.
I think I'm going to use that and make a new thumbnail of this picture right here.
I do like that a lot.
I think I didn't see that one before, so
yeah,
I'll make a new thumbnail for it. Yeah,
that's fine.
Very cool. Very cool.
Dude, yeah, thanks for coming on and hanging out. I hope we do it again, and I hope we do it after one of your competitions. The same thing I said with Gabe.
For sure.
Like I'd really love to do it, like either while you're there or because it's cool for me. I don't understand it. I don't know how you do it. My brain doesn't work that fast, so it's very cool how you guys. Much respect to what you guys do. It's very cool.
Well, her and Travis from Vindicate tried to do a little color commentary.
Travis is way better than I am.
Which one did he do? The Mountain
West
or whatever.
Oh yeah,
so Carl,
Gabe was there. It was Gabe that was there.
Yeah, Carl asked us to do a little play-by-play while he was competing, and I couldn't be here. I was with our son, and the two of them were, and she was like, "That was the hardest fucking thing I have ever done," and I don't think I said much.
I didn't say a word. I feel like Travis did it all.
Yeah.
Thank you, Travis. Your neck is going to be sore from looking up. Oh, I love you.
God, poor John. It's okay, Jonathan.
It's all right. Well, he did say he's just going to step back like 6 feet so he doesn't actually have to look up. So from a distance,
that works.
We'll look the same height.
We'll long for each other from across the room. It's fine. I'll look at you lovingly.
I love it. Oh God. Man.
But yeah, super cool. And I love to have you back on. Maybe we'll do something after your next
event.
Next event.
Yeah.
That'd be very cool.
Well, thanks for coming up and introducing yourself and saying hi. And because if you didn't, then we
thanks
wouldn't
for talking
have.
To me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. And I think I'll get used to it evenally when people recognize us.
I don't know if
I just think it's so weird.
You talked to my wife without me there. I don't know how I feel about that yet. Like I wasn't there.
It was friendly. It was.
He talked to Lauren first, and
I did. I got. Lauren told me, and I was like,
"You got Lauren's approval?
Yeah.
Okay, fine." Shit.
Lauren gave me the go. She was like, "You should go talk to her," and I was like, "I will." And then in between the heat, I went over and I said, "Hey."
Yeah.
No, that's
Yes.
fire.
Oh no, I'm glad I did. Thank you so much for having me on. This was so much
Yeah,
fun.
it was awesome to talk to you and learn all about you. And we'll definitely connect. Just keep us posted and let us know next
Yeah.
time that you're going to
For
be
sure.
somewhere at some event or whatever. And we would love to
Yeah.
connect with you. So
If you're on the
Absolutely.
Northeast, we'll travel. Like that's
Yeah.
we're not going West Coast because I'm not flying across country, but
I got her to fly down to South Carolina.
Yeah,
but
she
that's
got me
as
to
far as
fly
we'll
on
go.
the East Coast. That's it. That's all that's happening.
That's all we
That's
got.
awesome.
So, all right, Cam,
Oh.
tell your girl we said thanks for letting you
Yeah.
hang out with us for a little bit. And we'll
I
definitely
will.
talk to you next time. All right.
I will. Thank you so much. This is a blast.
See ya.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
guys. Deuces.
That was fun. He's such a cool dude.
Dude, he is a cool
Yeah,
dude.
I'm happy that he came up and said hi. And it's one of those things where
Yeah, Fight for the Fittest was awesome.
it was a really, really, really good event. And if it's just only gonna grow bigger from this past weekend, like, and from what they were saying, that it started very small, and like the founders of it started small, and then Christian Harris, and then it got bigger and bigger, and it's like, it's cool. Rant for what?
Kenneth,
Rant
what
for
rant
what?
do you want? Do you want a rant?
I don't have any rants. For what? No, we're good. We're good.
Yeah,
I don't have any rants.
I'm not mad yet.
No.
I don't know.
No, I don't have any.
I might have a rant shortly, but not right now. I'm too excited because I'm going to Crash. So I don't have a rant yet.
No, we're very, very excited.
I might have an autism rant next week, but I definitely don't have one now.
Can you close the door, please? Yes, we're almost done.
Look, my kid said, "Are you almost done?"
No, the other door, please. It's almost an hour and a half. He knows.
Yeah, I know.
That's all we get, an hour and a half.
But yeah, no, he was super cool.
Yeah.
Hold
on.
I'm excited to. What?
Hold on.
I guess he feels better.
He came in and literally was like, "Can we get Panera tomorrow after school?"
Legit, I'm exhausted. We were up all night with this boy because he just couldn't sleep. He was coughing and he was a hot mess. And it's not like he doesn't have anything.
No, it's just like this
it's just
lingering
like this
cough.
weird, leftover cough.
Yeah.
So he's now.
So we didn't
he
sleep
feels
much
better
last night, and she's been working her ass off the last
for the
couple
last,
weeks.
2 weeks.
So we were all looking forward to sleeping really well last night and sleeping in this morning. And
hour 20 mark. Yeah.
Right on time.
For real, Kenneth. You know the drill.
You know.
Yeah, he knows.
So we're all a little tired, but very excited that you were able to get this time with Cam, and we got to talk to him and whatever, and super cool. I mean, maybe Gabe and Cam will come on together.
That'd be cool.
To have
have
together.
Cam and Gabe together.
Well, don't forget, Gabe was just at Summit Games, so maybe reach out to him, and maybe not this week, obviously, because we're because we're about to get ready to go to Crash, but maybe next week or the following week, maybe if you want to reach out to him and see how Summit Games was going. So
yeah, Jody, cool. No, he can't do NyQuil. We do, what is it? What
Mucinex.
No. What's the that you rub, the one that pause.
Oh my gosh.
What's the
Vicks?
Vicks. Thank you. Like he does the
I
Vicks,
was like, wait.
Like and actually the Vicks on his feet with the socks on, so that the old school.
Yes, thank you, Kenneth.
Yeah. Thank you. Vicks,
steam showers, that kind of stuff. The kids cough drops, which are pretty much just a lollipop.
Yeah.
The same way that we have the cough drops, but he's got it like as a lollipop, and just trying to get him to drink water. You always know when he's kind of not feeling too great because he doesn't want to eat much.
Yeah. And he already doesn't want to eat a lot. So
yeah. So but he didn't even want snacks. And
it was weird.
That's usually when we know. But he's starting to ask for all that stuff again, and Vindicate.
Yo, that is old school though.
That is old
Vindicate,
school.
Nothing a little shot of whiskey can't fix. Yeah, that was the teeth when it was my I definitely remember when I was teething.
Yep.
That was a thing. Like, but yeah.
Yep.
Fire.
But no, he's feeling better, and just want to get him feeling good so we can get on that plane on Thursday. So,
and he is excited about the plane. He's definitely not scared of the plane. He wants to be on a plane until he's on a plane. Then we'll see how he feels. We'll see how he does. But, yeah, he's excited for it. to get on the plane. So
Mhm.
it should be cool.
Yeah.
So we're super excited to see everybody.
He's more upset because he's going to leave school early on Thursday.
Yeah.
And he's not going to be in school on Friday.
Ah.
So that's more of where he was having a moment of not understanding, like, why am I not going to school on Friday? And like asked a couple times and got a little bit upset that he had to leave early. Why do I have to leave early? And so just trying to tell him that, like, because we're going on a plane. And
Hey, we haven't gotten to do a Taylor, Kill Taylor replay.
Well,
did he lose today?
Yeah,
I didn't even know.
We weren't able to watch the whole thing.
I thought he lost today. Has he lost?
You're welcome, Jonathan.
What happened? Damn,
yep.
You just reminded me I had to finish all my homework before the weekend. Yeah, go do that. Yep. That's my kid too. But has he lost? Like,
how's he doing? I guess
what happened?
I guess is the
Does
better
anybody
question.
know? Is he okay?
Anybody check on him
Is
today?
Taylor
Is he doing okay?
Somebody love on Taylor. What happened?
Somebody on Taylor.
Hans beat him, right? Oh, Hans beat. Oh, really?
We caught the beginning part of it, and
the dude that went touch and go and exploded.
Yeah.
Pause, and then did it.
He's focused on Crash. Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
As long as he's okay. Because he's talking shit about beating. He's like very adamant and wants to beat Colton this weekend.
All right, so we'll talk to him after Crash. That's fine.
Yep. Just want to make sure he's doing okay.
All right, guys.
Cool.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yep.
We'll see you. Jersey Joe, hopefully we'll be on Wednesday. Just haven't nailed down the time.
We might jump on and do one ourselves just to
either tomorrow or Tuesday.
If not, we will see you guys.
We'll see y'all at Crash.
At Crash, whoever's
super
going.
Excited.
So
hey, Jonathan Ortega, are you still in the chat? Can we get a picture
when we're there
together?
Of course.
Can we get a real picture together?
We're gonna have.
I mean, Kenneth, I know I'm gonna see you. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
We're gonna see him. He said yes. Jonathan said yes.
Oh, yay!
Yeah,
awesome.
And Kenneth. Well, yes, we will see you Saturday.
Yeah, Kenneth. Yeah, absolutely. Everybody else.
Yeah, because we're gonna
Jody,
be there.
I know I saw Dick Butter in here.
He did come in.
Hi, Dick Butter.
We're going to be there all day Friday and all day Saturday, and then we're
out on Sunday,
early Sunday. So, but excited to be there for a couple days and
super
excited
cool.
to see Travis, Kate. We're excited to see.
Dude, we're buying everything when we get there. Just so you know.
Well, he did say that Little G is going to get hooked up, so I'm excited for him.
Yeah,
I'm excited for him to get that.
That's cool.
So, yep.
I'll take photos. Oh shit. I'll take photos of you and then I'll stand on a 24-inch box. Okay.
Take a selfie.
Oh, I'm good with that. That's
good.
fire.
Yeah, I like that. So,
all right, guys. Thank you. We always appreciate you. Deuces.
Bye.